Hi, thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to look at the second part of the Fight'n Rooster series, and this will be the next set of celluloid Stockmans up through 1985. And the first one I'm looking at today, I don't have an exact date on this or any other info besides the tank stamp, which dates it 1982 to 94. It doesn't have a theme or an etching besides the Fight'n Rooster name, so it's not one I can easily search for. It may be a prototype or a special run of some kind, and given that, we'll just check out its design and condition. The celluloid design is identical to the previous bolsterless Stockman from the first video, which also has the Fight'n Rooster brand name on the blade etching instead of a theme. That one was in 1978. This one's at least 82. The design is like the Christmas tree celluloid again, but with no green, and it does have bolsters, angled bolsters, and also like the bolsterless Stockman, the celluloid's in wonderful shape. No complaints here. I said about the similar knife that I hadn't seen this white line between the scales and liner on any other of these, but I was wrong. This one also shares it. Looking more at them together, this isn't celluloid oxidation like I presumed before. Rather, this is something to do with the manufacturing process. It's like a base that the glitter is sitting on, I bet. And we can see the back of the handle is clean. There's a splotch of rust, I think, at the bottom. It has a very rare nickel silver liner. The shield's unique, just a simple bar shield. None of the others here have that, at least. Rooster didn't have a specific shield they always used, but these two fancy crests are on all the rest of these Stockmans. But the bar shield's a bit darkened, as well as the pins on the front. And same on the back. Strange how one's untouched on both sides. The blade differs a bit, although it has the same etching. This one also has the TM trademark mark. Is that redundant? By the Roosters here. And the nail nicks on this one all have the match striker, which looks awesome. Even the short pulls. And then the only rusting on these blades is just some very minor dots on the sheep's foot, there by the nail nick. But no complaints here at all. And next, then, I'll be looking at three knives from 1985. This first one is called West Coast Turnaround. I showed this one briefly in the first video as an example of rusting on the blade. The handle's one of my favorites. I'm not sure what to call the pattern. It's like a reflective blue tiger stripe. The one next to it's the same style, but completely different pattern. And there's no shrinkage here. The handle's perfect. And the shield on this one is a crest. It's more of the erotic crest, and no shrinkage there either. The pins are nickel silver and not tarnished like with the previous knives, and that goes for both sides. The bolsters, though, they have some wear. This one's got a ding. I don't really know where this knife came from. It's kind of the stepchild around here. It's the only one with any sort of wear on it. I think my dad sought this knife out because it has a semi-truck on it. And the blade says West Coast Turnaround, which appears to have a copyright 1985 and says 1 of 600 made. There's some decorative ivy and a semi-truck. Then the etching tells us this was number 270 of 600. West Coast Turnaround, if you Google it, you'll find it refers to truck drivers hopped up on amphetamines. Kind of strange. My dad, who owned this knife, was a local freight driver, but I guarantee you he wasn't hopped up on speed to work second shifts. He did probably go out of his way to obtain this one due to the inclusion of the semi-truck. I don't know that he knew what it really meant. The etching has gold paint, but it's a bit faded. Someone might have gotten a bit too zealous with cleaning. And then the rust at the top is noticeable. I gave this one a 2 on rust because it's not just a few dots, rather it's more of a small area that's rusted along the swedge and top of the blade there. The back of the blade's great. The rust is all just in that one area. Then we can see how the sheep's foot has some spots, but the spay is clean. Next is another 1985, and this is the Joker's Wild Stockman. It's an end-of-day type celluloid. Definitely the coolest end-of-day I've ever seen. Of course, it was done with purpose, not just scraps and leftovers. End-of-day means the factories, back in the old times, they would just use whatever scraps of celluloid were left over at the end of the day to maximize their production count. And if you ask me, this one is just amazingly good looking. There's all different types of cool celluloid in here. And it seems, this is very subjective, but the front kind of is more feminine with like a pink heart sort of shape here. And the yellow kind of looks like flowery and a tear or water or something down here. And then the back kind of looks more masculine, kind of blocky. I don't know, completely subjective. I like objective things, like this spot of rust on the back of the handle here. The etching says Joker's Wild, 1985, which fits well with the wild handle theme. There's a little Joker guy on there like from a deck of cards. This is one of 600, and the serial says it's number 048. The etching is painted in gold, which goes pretty well with the overall gold tone of the handle. And there's no rusting at all on any of the 3 blades that I can see. Nothing serious, nothing worth mentioning. This knife is in great shape. All right, then the last one for today, I've got this 1985 Folsom Prison Special. This one is a red and black striped handle, reminiscent of prison bars or perhaps a prisoner's uniform. I looked up Folsom Prison. They're just north of Sacramento, California. They never used red or black as colors, not even in the early days. They used blue as far back as I could find. Regardless, it's a beautiful color. The front bolster, there's kind of a small hole here. The shield has some scratches, nothing major. And the other side is just the same. The back is in good shape, standard brass liner. The etching says Folsom Prison Special, 1985, one of 600, and the number is number 448, the serial number. It's got the same decorative ivy as the West Coast turnaround from earlier, and that's an electric chair. Funny thing is, though, California never used the electric chair, not ever. Up until 1937, Folsom inmates were hung, but no more executions there after 1937. Instead, they were gassed in San Quentin. Putting a noose on your product is probably never a good idea, though, even in 1985. Speaking of gassing, the blade's in top shape. There's a production defect of a line on the tang here. Then the back of the blade has some scratches or something at the bottom center, if I can show it. And on the smaller blades, they're also pretty good. The only rusting is along the front of the sheep's foot here. Thanks for watching. That wraps up the Fight'n Rooster Stockmans through 1985. I'm here to document their condition. My next video will be the next 4 from 1986 to 1988. Then I'll have 4 additional videos on these Stockmans after then. So if you'd like to see those or other knives from my late father's knife collection, feel free to subscribe and join me, or check out some of my other videos.